Before the curse, the castle sang with life, its stone walls echoing with laughter and music. But a curse doesn't arrive with thunder. It creeps in like a fog, silent and suffocating, until the song is no more. Our kingdom Eldoria was blessed with a princess named Aurelia. She wasn't just beautiful, she was the kingdom's joy, a beacon of kindness whose smile could make the sun feel shy. Then, one morning, the music stopped. Princess Aurelia didn't wake up. She lay in a state of unbreakable stillness, her breath a shallow whisper. The royal physicians were baffled, declaring it a deep coma from which she might never return. The grieving king, to preserve her earthly form, had her placed within a magnificent crystal chest. She lay like a fallen star, cold and distant. The chest was placed in a guarded chamber, but the guards saw an omen, a vessel of dark magic. They whispered that a shadow clung to her, and fear spread through the palace. They stood their posts, but their eyes were always averted, their hearts pounding with dread. Among them was a young soldier named Kalen. He wasn't a noble knight or a famous captain. He was simply a man who did his duty. But unlike the others, when Kalen looked at the princess, he didn't see a curse. He saw a young woman trapped in an invisible cage, her silent suffering a cry that only his heart could hear. Compassion took root in his soul. He refused to accept this silent fate. He decided he wouldn't stand by and watch the kingdom's light die. He would find an answer. From hushed tavern tales, Kalen learned of a legendary wizard named Malachi, a recluse living deep within the dreaded Glumud. It was said Malachi could read minds, walking the hidden paths of thought and memory. Kalen knew this was his only hope. To understand what had happened, he needed someone who could listen to a mind that could no longer speak. He sought out two trusted comrades, the stoic archer Finn and the brawny, good-natured Ronan. He spoke not of glory, but of duty and empathy. He spoke of the silence in the castle, and in their hearts they heard the same desperate cry. They agreed to join him. Their journey took them to the edge of the Gloomwood. The moment they stepped beneath its canopy, the world changed. Sunlight was strangled by ancient leaves, casting the forest in a perpetual twilight. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of decay and the unnerving hum of unseen insects. The ground writhed with serpents. It was a place designed to break the will, a living labyrinth of fear. For days they pushed through thorny vines that tore at their skin. Ronan's strength cleared their path. Finn's keen eyes watched for dangers, but it was Kellen's unwavering resolve that fueled their spirits. When hope wavered, he would remind them of the silent princess, of the stolen song of their kingdom, and they would press on. Finally, they found him. In a small clearing sat the wizard Malachi. He was not ancient and frail, but lean and sharp, with eyes that held the wariness of 1,000 lifetimes. He listened to Kellen's plea with indifference. "The world is full of suffering," Malachi said, his voice raspy. "Why should this one princess concern me? I came to this forest to escape the selfish noise of human minds, not to invite it back in." Kalen felt a surge of frustration, but he saw a man wounded by his own gift. "You say you fled from selfishness," Kalen challenged, his voice steady. "But what is more selfish than to have the power to heal and to hoard it for yourself in the woods? You see the worst in humanity, and in your retreat, you've become the very thing you despise." Her suffering is not a noise, it is a silence that begs to be heard. The wizard stared at Kalen. For the first time in years, someone had not begged for his power, but had challenged his soul. A flicker of something long dormant sparked in his eyes. With a heavy sigh, he stood. "Very well, soldier. You have a sharper tongue than you do a sword. I will help you." Returning to the palace in secret, Malachi stood before the crystal chest. He placed his fingertips on the cold surface, closed his eyes, and reached out with his mind. Sweat beaded on the wizard's brow as he descended into a psychic abyss. When he finally opened his eyes, they were filled with a grim understanding. "Her mind is a void," he explained, "because her soul is not in her body. It has been stolen, siphoned away, and imprisoned within an object of great magical power. Black crystal orb, a soul stone." A chill ran down Kellen's spine. Such dark magic was a deliberate, calculated act of malice. The enchantment would have required immense power and, more importantly, proximity and trust, Malachi continued. "The culprit is not some distant enemy. They are here, within these very walls." Kellen's mind raced. Someone in the palace. Someone close to the princess. With Malachi's guidance, they began a silent investigation. The wizard, from seclusion, extended his consciousness, brushing against the minds of the royal court. He described the greed, the fear, the jealousies he encountered. Kalen provided context. Their focus soon narrowed to one man, Lord Valerius, the king's most trusted advisor. Malachi described Valerius's mind as a fortress, but deep within he found a venomous knot of jealousy and resentment. With the king's reluctant permission, they confronted the advisor. Lord Valerius denied everything, his face a mask of shocked indignation. But as Malachi described the deepest, most secret thoughts of his heart, the mask began to crack. Cornered and exposed, Valerius broke down. It wasn't power he craved, but recognition for his son, who he felt was constantly overshadowed by Princess Aurelia. In a twisted act of love for his child, he had sought to dim the princess's light so his son might finally shine. Guided by the wizard's vision, Kalen found the soul stone in the advisor's studier polished black orb, disguised as a decorative piece. It felt cold to the touch, and Kalen could almost feel a faint, desperate pulse from within. There, in the center of the royal court, Kalen drew his simple soldier's sword. He raised it high and brought it down with all his might. The orb shattered with a sound like 1,000 weeping violins finding a triumphant chord. A blinding flash of white light erupted from the fragments, soaring towards the princess's chamber. They rushed to her side just as a soft gasp escaped her lips. Princess Aurelia's eyes fluttered open. The color returned to her cheeks, the warmth to her skin. The song of the castle had returned in a single beautiful breath. Her gaze fell upon the humble soldier by her side. "Kaelin," she whispered, her voice weak but clear. "You heard me." To leave no doubt, Malachi performed one final act. He created a psychic echo, forcing Lord Valerius to silently relive the moment he cast the spell. His horrified expression was undeniable proof for all to witness. Finn and Ronan then stepped forward, recounting their perilous journey, cementing the truth of the incredible events. Kaelin was hailed as a hero, but he never saw himself that way. He had simply listened when no one else would. The story of the soldier who saved the princess became a legend in Eldoria, but its true power was not in the tale of magic and monsters. It was a story about the profound strength of empathy. It taught us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the compassionate heart that chooses to act in spite of it. And it reminded us all that sometimes the greatest hero isn't the one with the sharpest sword, but the one with the quiet determination to listen to the silence and fight for the light that has been lost. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales. See you next time.